The critics claim there just aren't enough qualified air traffic controllers to ensure safety in the skies. And there is pressure on the White House to bring some of the controllers back.
It's going to take a tragedy to force them to move.
Tomorrow, watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Coming up on Eyewitness News, the Dolphins surviving a close one in the Orange Bowl.
The country mourns victims of the air disaster in Canada, and a reputed godfather is gunned down in New York.
Eyewitness News is coming up next.
Channel 10, WPLG, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. This is Eyewitness News at 11. South Florida's #1 late news with Mike Schneider, Ann Bishop, meteorologist Don No, Cambrell Marshall with sports, and the Channel 10 Eyewitness News team.
Good evening. It was a night filled with football fever and wet weather, but it turned out just fine.
That's right, the Dolphins taking on the Patriots while the sellout crowd took on a great cause. Eyewitness News reporter Peggy Lewis is standing by live right now at the Orange Bowl. Peggy?
Mike and Ann, as you say, these fans went crazy over that game that puts them a game closer to the AFC East Championship, but it was also a game in which many Dolphins fans contributed to an effort that will help get a lot of people out of wheelchairs. It is called the Miami Project, a group looking for a cure for paralysis caused by injuries or diseases of the central nervous system.
It's no fun being in a wheelchair. We can't get around like you can. We can't do things fast, but we can do them.
The effort was spearheaded by former Miami Dolphin linebacker Nick Bonacani after his 19-year-old son Mark became a quadriplegic after a college football accident in October. The Miami Project hopes to bring neurosurgeons from all over the world to find a cure for Mark and millions like him. Nick Bonacani is convinced the project is his son's only hope.
There's fragmented research going on all over the world. And he says the only way we'll ever find a cure for paralysis is to bring all these brains under one roof, give them unbridled research funds, and let them go at it.
The fundraising goal is $1 million. It started with the sale of $7 T-shirts tonight. Their symbol, no more wheelchairs. And American Express is donating $1 for each American Express card showed at the gate. Doll fans feel it's a fantastic way to help out.
I really feel so bad for young Mark, and I could just do anything to help him through his ordeal.
I'm a nurse from New Jersey, and we had a lot of spinal cord injuries when the Kessler Institute. So, you know, I was very aware of it, but the public in general is not aware.
I think everyone should pitch in to help in a situation like this one. It's a very tragic situation that can be turned into something good for Mark and for his family and for all of Miami.
They raised $400,000, and if you're at home, you can still contribute. In Dade, call 559-2200. Outside of Dade, it's a 100 number, 1-800-432-5424. And now, for those of you who want to hear more about that exciting game, Eyewitness News sports director Cambrell Marshall is with me.
An exciting game, to be sure. A game that seemed like the Dolphins were in complete control of, or at least it seemed that way, down to the final stretch. A tie football game. Turned out to be a much closer game than the Dolphins would have wanted it to be. We'll talk more about the game coming up in sports a little bit later in the newscast.
Okay, Cambrell, thank you very much. A Miami marching band finally got its chance to play the Orange Bowl tonight. The Red Raiders of Edison High performing during the pregame show at the Dolphins game. The band has been rated superior the past couple of years, but each time was bypassed to play the King Orange Jamboree Parade on New Year's Eve. The students say they really appreciate this chance to show everybody how good they really are.
The thrill of watching the game cuts across all social groups and even ages. Eyewitness News Broward Bureau reporter Jerry Cohen joined a group tonight that rarely misses a game and claimed the title of Doll fans for decades. Here's Jerry's report on the Nightbeat in Fort Lauderdale.
Monday night football fans who can't go to the Orange Bowl often crowd into bars with big screen TVs cheering on the team as if they were there. But we found another group of fans who may not be as lively, but they are equally devoted to the Dolphins. Tell me why you like them so much.
Because they win. That'd be my whole answer. You gotta win.
93-year-old Ethel Fritz is perhaps the Dolphins' biggest fan, and she also makes good predictions.
I think they'll win tonight. And I think Marino will throw the ball well. And I think it will be caught, because he will throw it the way it should be thrown.
All of the residents of the Westminster Manor nursing home enjoy watching the Dolphins. They used to go to the games themselves, but now they're content with watching at home. During the second half, Ethel retired to her room where she prefers to watch the game in privacy, and apparently she also prefers not to listen to ABC's announcers.
Would prevent an even bigger gain. First down at the Dolphins 20. Time to kill. Badly beat.
Ethel bets a nickel on every game, and the Dolphins have made her 55 cents richer this season, and she is so confident of the team. She says if they make it to the Super Bowl, she may even bet a dime. In Fort Lauderdale, Jerry Cohen, Channel 10 Eyewitness News on the Nightbeat.
Good for her. You know, sports fans have something new to cheer about tonight, Ethel included, of course. It looks like that proposed sports arena for downtown Miami is on the way to becoming a reality. The Sports Authority says it's still working out details, but financing of the multi-million-dollar complex should be complete within a couple of weeks, we're told, and they hope to break ground sometime in the spring. It could be a few years away, but they're talking about a big sports arena in Sunrise. The City Council considering plans to build a complex there right next to the Sunrise Musical Theater, complete with a sports arena, a hotel, and a convention center. Sunrise, we're told, will not be financing the deal here, but it is promising to back the private developer all the way to get those plans off the ground. Ann?
They're asking for your help, and their goal this and every year is to save lives. Mothers Against Drunk Driving holding their annual vigil tonight, rallying outside the library in Fort Lauderdale to remind us drunk drivers can kill. They're hoping the effort will help keep the roads safe during the holidays. One woman hurt today in an accident involving a school bus. It happened on Okeechobee Road in Hialeah. A car veered in front of the private school van. The van swerved, hitting another car. Now, the driver of that car was injured, but Berta Perez was released from the hospital with minor injuries. The school children are all okay.
We still don't know why that Aero jetliner crashed in Canada last week. Tonight we do know that the bodies of 256 Americans have started coming home. And the president made sure their families do not suffer alone. The president traveled to Fort Campbell to mourn with the families and the friends of the crash victims, emphasizing their losses felt by millions of Americans.
And we all mourn with you. We cannot fully share the depth of your sadness, but we pray that the special power of this season will make its way into your sad hearts and remind you of some old joys.
The president and the first lady spent almost an hour talking with the families, both fighting back their own tears at times, but making sure that each relative was offered comfort.
He was a young man that my father could really be proud of, and I was proud of him. It gives me a sense that our country cares, and that our president cares and is concerned.
I showed President Reagan Mark's picture, and I said Mark had been honor guard for him when he was inaugurated the first time. And President Reagan said, I thank you for that. And I said, and now you came to honor our son. And he said, yes, I did.
This whole gathering has helped me a lot. You know, meeting with the president and all the other people, meeting all the fellows that Scott was with, and hearing about some of the good times they had together.
My husband and I talked about the comfort we felt today, but that we still have so much more grieving to go through when we bring his body back.
Air Force planes loaded with caskets are now flying into the Dover, Delaware Air Base. And back in Kentucky, other members of the 101st Airborne honored their fallen comrades with the division song. Some of the families are now expressing anger at Arrow Airlines, and tonight we're told the survivors of Sergeant Paul Henningway are suing Arrow for $5 million. Ann?
It could be months before the exact cause of the crash is known. Right now, the wreckage is being transferred to Ottawa for analysis. The flight recorder showed the DC-8 was flying at 190 miles an hour when it suddenly lost speed and veered to the right. The plane crashed just under 2 minutes after it started the takeoff.
During the takeoff, the aircraft reached a peak speed of about 165 knots.
Investigators are looking into the possibility of ice or snow on the wings. They are also wondering if the brakes might have locked or whether pilot error could have caused the crash. Meantime, a mechanic claims Arrow removed a panel from the cargo bay which might have altered the center of gravity on the plane. They still don't know what caused a deadly gas explosion in Colorado today. Something ignited a propane tank, leveling a gas company office in Glenwood Springs. 10 people were killed, at least 2 others still unaccounted for. That tank was sitting on a flatbed truck outside the office when it blew up.
The bomb squad was called into Coral Gables today. Somebody planted a pipe bomb inside a mailbox. A mail carrier found it inside the box at Douglas Road in West Sunrise. The bomb was taken away, it was detonated, and nobody was hurt. So far, no suspects. Tonight, 9 people jailed in Miami for allegedly smuggling marijuana, and a lot of it. The Coast Guard says it found 35 tons of pot on board a Colombian ship off the coast of Miami and arrested the crew. The pot's got a street value of $35 million.
Drug-sniffing dogs are pretty commonplace these days, but they're excited about it in England. So much, in fact, they held a demonstration for Princess Diana at Heathrow in London and got just a little more than they bargained for.
Sniffer dogs are an essential part of the customs officer's armory, and so the princess met Oscar, a 2.5-year-old Springer Spaniel who was set the task of finding a blue suitcase containing heroin, and who stole the show doing it. He found the case to applause. But would he let it go? Reinforcements were brought in. They decided to take the heroin out and show it to the princess, and Oscar took them both on. And would Oscar let the case go? The princess left, and would Oscar let the case go? He won, of course.
Oscar's just something else, I tell you.
Yeah, it's a pretty short piece of luggage, too.
Lots more ahead tonight, including the very latest in the Orange Bowl.
Then we will tell you about a police search in Broward and a mass murderer who is asking for clemency. Eyewitness News is coming right back.
We want to send you to the Super Bowl. That's right, Rick. Channel 10, Waxy Radio, Continental Airlines, and Pepsi-Cola invite you to play the Pepsi Pigskin Sweepstakes, where you can win an all-expense-paid trip for 2 to Super Bowl 20. Ooh. You'll fly Continental Airlines to beautiful New Orleans, where you'll stay at a lovely hotel only minutes from the Superdome. Ooh. And you'll also receive $1,000 in spending money. It all starts January 6th. Watch Channel 10 for details on how you can win.
Tonight, police are asking for your help. They're trying to locate an elderly woman who disappeared from a South Dade retirement home. 86-year-old Christine Jensen apparently wandered away from the Cutler Retirement Center on Old Cutler Road yesterday. She's not been seen since. Ms. Jensen is about 5'9", about 145 pounds, last seen wearing a blue flowered dress. If you've seen her, please call the police. They need to hear from you.
Big surprise tonight in a Miami murder trial. Charles Griffith, the man accused of killing his comatose daughter, will not take the stand. Griffith waiving his right to testify after conferring with his lawyer. Today, the defense rested its case. Tomorrow, the state expected to call rebuttal witnesses to refute claims that Griffith was insane at the time of the killing. A notorious killer hoping for mercy from the Florida Clemency Board, Ted Bundy, who's on death row for murdering 2 Florida State co-eds and a 12-year-old girl back in 1978, is appealing his case to the panel, looking for either a pardon, a reprieve, or to have his sentence commuted. Bundy is also a prime suspect in a series of sex crimes out west. The Clemency Board will consider his case tomorrow.
He was known as a godfather. He was murdered on the streets of Midtown Manhattan tonight. His name, Paul Castellano, the alleged mafia strongman, killed by 3 men wearing trench coats and firing automatic weapons at close range. Castellano's bodyguard driver was also killed in the attack. Witnesses say the killer simply walked away and got into a car and then disappeared. Castellano was being tried on federal racketeering charges. Still no verdict on the federal racketeering trial of Louisiana's governor, Edwin Edwards. He and his brother were acquitted on 41 fraud counts today, but the jury is still deadlocked over the racketeering and mail fraud counts connected to an alleged $10 million scheme to sell building permits in Louisiana. And
an intense lobbying effort apparently paying off for President Reagan. Tonight, the White House announcing it's rounded up 50 GOP votes, enough to bring a tax reform bill back to the House floor. Last week, the Democrat-sponsored bill was stalled in the House, most Republicans voting to not consider it.
Still ahead tonight, we'll have more on the Dolphins' victory.
Cambrell Sports live from the Orange Bowl when we come back.
The court view.
Time for the sports. We're going back to the Orange Bowl right now. Happy night in the studio and a happy night there, I suppose.
I would be inclined to say, although I must say the Dolphins did dodge a bullet tonight, Cabral.
Yeah, and nobody dodged any wetness out here. I'm glad everybody's happy. We're happy, but it is rather, well, where's Don Know when you need him? A lot of people wanted to talk to him tonight. I can tell you that, but the Dolphins are happy nonetheless. They come away with a win tonight over the Patriots, and that means they have clinched at least a playoff spot in the American Football Conference. A win next week, and they win the AFC East Championship outright. Final score 30-27. We'll show you just how it happened. A game of a lot of turnovers and conflicts in this game. This is Tony Collins, who ran for New England. He fumbled the football when he was hit by Bob Brzezinski, but Brown recovered. 3 minutes later, Dan Marino hit Joe Rose for a touchdown and made it 7-0 Dolphins. The Pats came back, though. Tony Easton hitting Irving Fryer, 7-7 in the first quarter. Second quarter, Dolphins leading 10-7, and then Ron Davenport ran it in 17-7 the score at that time. Third quarter, Miami led 17-10 before an exchange of field goals. Fuad Rivez, 49-yarder, 20-10 the score. Franklin, 49 yards, and it was 20-13. Marino then came up and tried to pass to Nat Moore. A pass interference was called on this play. That set the Dolphins up for the ball just where they needed, and that meant that Ron Davenport got his chance again. Touchdown, 27-13. Easton to Fryer, a different, this is almost deja vu. This time pass interference called against the Dolphins. Mosi Tutupu, the man who got the call later on, made it 27-20, a close game. Not as close as it would get. The ensuing kickoff, on that ensuing kickoff, you watch Joe Carter get the ball, runs, he gets hit, breaks away, tries to get away, loses the football. Cedric Jones picks it up, runs it in, and we've got a tie football game, 27-27. Fuad Rivez, though, came back, a nice long field goal, making it 30-27, and a big sigh of relief in this one as his time was running out, and a pass intercepted here to end the hopes of the New England Patriots. All they needed was a win, and they would have been able to come away with the AFC East. So that meant that the Dolphins really needed to come away with a win. Bruce Hardy, tight end here, and I guess the atmosphere in the clubhouse tonight is one of elation, really, that you've come this close to after all the injuries you guys have suffered all season long.
Yeah, it's been a up and down year with the injuries and the problems we had in camp, and everybody's hung together, and the last 5-6 weeks we've really played good, come up with the plays when we need them, and we're happy. We're real happy.
When you come up with important, decisive wins like this one, what does that do for the team's morale in terms of being ready for the playoffs and a chance to go back to the Super Bowl?
Well, anytime you get towards the end of a season and you're working to get in the playoffs, you like to go in the playoffs on as much of a roll as you can, get a winning streak going, that kind of a thing. And right now I think we've won 6 or 7 games in a row. And hopefully we can do it again next week. And that, like I say, that's what you want to be. You want to be on a roll and headed towards the playoffs.
Okay, thank you very much, Bruce Hardy, and congratulations. Good win tonight, 30-27 the final score. Congratulations to all the players tonight. You can have the umbrella, by the way. Stop raining long enough for the sports, so it must be a good sign, a good omen, as a matter of fact. Well, while this game was going on tonight, was being played tonight, some sad news for the players. I'm sure that their hearts were with the Sandusky family. John Sandusky, the offensive line coach, his wife passed away last night. We, from the Channel 10 staff, would also like to express our regrets and sympathy for that Sandusky family. Norman Bramer making news in the South Florida area tonight. Norman Bramer, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, Coach Marion Campbell, fired there today. The news was that David Shula, the assistant coach here with the Miami Dolphins, was in line for that coaching job. Shula, of course, a coach now 4 years with the Dolphins for the receivers and quarterback coach. And you got to ask, a man who's 26 years old, you got to wonder, is he old enough to handle that job?
You know, it's a speculative question on whether I, get the job or not, and I'm sure all those things, if discussions proceed, will be hashed out before any thing is signed, if anything is offered, and that's something that would have to be discussed and rehashed over and over and settled before any contract was signed, if one is going to be offered.
And as in a lot of things of this nature, the word is wait until the end of the season. The playoffs, of course, foremost on the mind of David Shula. And that is exactly jubilation in the locker room as the Dolphins come away tonight with a 30-27 win and looking impressive while doing it. And Mike?
All right. Thank you very much, Cam.
Still ahead tonight, more cold weather coming south.
Don's forecast next on Eyewitness News. Don must think we're going to hit him about the weather. He's standing way over there at the board.
It's lousy outside. I'm awful sorry for those folks who are sitting in the Orange Bowl tonight. This is something that happens maybe once or twice a winter. We'll try to explain it to you in a second. High pressure to the north, another high to the south. As we know too well, it was raining down here. It wasn't even drizzle. It was just rain. Snow to the north, also snow up over the northern areas of the Great Lakes tonight. If we take a look at some of the snow amounts that have come down, we have travelers advisories up for northern Michigan, southern Michigan, and on the lee side of the Great Lakes of Ontario and Erie. 7 inches Niagara Falls, 5 inches in northern Ohio, 3 inches in southwest lower Michigan, and 3 inches on the ground already in northern Michigan. Tomorrow it's going to get a little better. Mostly cloudy yet, but some sun. Rain limited to Texas. Snow again over the Great Lakes. Then on Wednesday, we should see sunny skies and mild temperatures down here with a low-pressure area developing over here in Texas, a cold front in northern Florida. On Thursday, this low is going to travel all the way up to the north here, and then it'll be a rain area through us, so it's going to be a lousy day again on Thursday, turning colder for Thursday and Friday, and then colder yet for Saturday and Sunday. Now, these are the highs across the country. We had 20s across the north, 30s and 40s from New York down to Washington for maximum readings this afternoon. The southern part of the country, temperatures were coldest up in Oklahoma and Texas, and also into North Dakota and northern Carolina with 40s. Otherwise, we had 50s and a few 60s. Miami, one of the warmer ones, 72. You want cold? I'll show you cold up here. 5 below zero, single figures below zero and above zero in Wisconsin, Minnesota, with 3 in Minneapolis, 28 in Chicago, and 39 over in Cincinnati. And the western part of the country, we had temperatures in the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 70s in Los Angeles, where they almost made 80 degrees today. They're finally warming up out there. Across the state of Florida, the high temperatures this afternoon, 50s across the northern part of the state, 60s in the central area, 70s from the Palm Beaches southward. Conkey had 69 for the exception in the Keys. On the satellite photograph, we're going to show you the close-up view of Florida. According to the satellite, it isn't raining down here. We know better, though. That little area of clouds here expanded a little bit, and I don't know why, but the satellite just isn't picking it up, but I know for a fact it was raining all throughout South Florida, but just us. It's not raining up here where the clouds are. It's raining down here. It's weird. I'm going to show you the radar and show you what is going on. Right now, the live picture shows the showers that have moved through the Orange Bowl up into Broward County now, and other heavy showers are moving still into Dade County. Heavier rains yet to the south of us. Just this little area. It's the only part of the state getting rain. Why us on Monday night in front of national TV? And I'm sorry for the 70,000 of you out there now trouncing out to your cars. Our forecast for the boaters, the winds will be northeast to east, 10 to 15 knots. 3 to 4 foot seas, Baylor's moderate chop, no advisories. Low tide 6:07, high tide at 12:30 at Government Cut. So our forecast tonight, it will be raining, and I think it'll probably rain most of the night with that rain just moving right up over us. Cloudy with rain and fog. The jet stream is what's doing it. We usually don't have the jet over us, but we do tonight. Tomorrow, lots of clouds, high 74. I don't think it's going to rain tomorrow. At least it won't. It shouldn't past noon. Wednesday, partly cloudy and 76. Thursday, the cold front coming through, rain in 62. Sunny and cold on Friday, and colder for the weekend. That's our weather. Here's Mike.
Okay, Don, thanks very much. Notre Dame didn't have much of a year on the football field. Didn't rain too much on them, I guess, but they did break at least one record this fall. More than 5,000 people gathered at a practice field at Notre Dame and engaged in the world's largest game of musical chairs. The Guinness people have now certified the new record, saying Notre Dame indeed broke the old Ohio State record for musical chairs. They didn't do it by 10 or 20 or 100 or even 200. They did it by 1,000, Notre Dame did. Sounds to me like old Notre Dame kind of ran up that score. Sound familiar?
It's certainly better than their football game, I would say.
Yeah.
That's it for us. Stay tuned now for ABC's Headlines.
For Ann, Don Cambrell, and the rest of the Eyewitness News team, I'm Mike Schneider. Thank you for watching. Have a good night, a good morning, and we'll see you again in a few hours.